Happy 98th Facebook Live Wednesday, guys. Today is a topic that I've done before, but you figure I've done 100 parenting tips. And after my mom passed, I started looking at the importance of sharing a legacy. And a legacy does not have to mean leaving your house or leaving your car. You can be actually a homeless parent and leave a legacy for your children. How do you do that? Well, I'm here to tell you. I had a list of 7 ways, but I thought I could start off with my parenting tip 100. And let me read to you. It's very short, and it's titled, "You Can Leave a Priceless Legacy." What matters more than discipline? Nurturing and cultivating your relationship with your child, right? No matter what job you have, what certificates, degrees, accomplishments, as a parent, we all want to nurture and cultivate our relationship. But I think, and I'm guilty of this, I focus on academics and goal setting and making sure that they are raised with the right values. And that's all good. But if you don't nurture your relationship, I think my children have reminded me that sometimes I nagged or I wasn't very compassionate, even in my tone. And so my intention was there, but I did not model. This is the second part of it. Modeling how I interacted with my spouse or your partner, the way that you role model interacting with your family members, with friends, with your significant others, shows your children how they should act. So they see you, and my girls have seen me unfortunately lose my temper with my husband, their father. And I was told recently that they didn't think that I loved their dad. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's because they witnessed me not being very kind. So that's a goal of mine that is sometimes a struggle because I tend to emotionally react. And when you emotionally react, you do not maintain your cool. So, creating fun memories, right? Traditions and experiences as a family. When children don't feel heard, understood, and valued, the bond that you have with them will fall apart. They will resist discipline, they won't respect you, and they may rebel. Be an example of the character traits you would like your child to develop. Do you want them to remember your angry outbursts years after you're in heaven? What do you want your great-great-great-grandchildren to know about you? What memories do you want to leave with your current children, right, to pass on? Loving your children with commitment and unconditional love is the greatest legacy you can leave. Be honest and open by sharing childhood stories and turning conversations into priceless memories that will be treasured. And some of these memories might not be positive to you, but sharing your struggles, sharing what you overcame, sharing your fears will let your children know that you're human, and all the obstacles that you overcame, and that having fears is normal. A lot of times when we struggle with fears or we struggle with anxiety, we think, I must be the only one because everyone's got their act together. And guess what? None of us do. Even the most, highest paid, the most renowned and well-respected global leaders and, self-help gurus, they all have their insecurities, and they have their ways that they've, learned by, meditation or by, the values that they've developed. But share your struggles and the demons that you've encountered in your, with your teens, and they will cherish the lessons you've learned, and you will look more human. Let them know the real you rather than the perfectionist parent you long to be. So I thought that was kind of a spontaneous reading, but because I thought, since I'm going to be researching 7 ways to leave a legacy, I rarely reread the chapters. So I thought, what did I write? And I still believe that. I was working with a coach once, and she made me come up with my core beliefs. And that's one of the 7 ways to leave a legacy, is really teach your children the values and model it for them. So some of mine: compassion, honesty, be a learner and willing to change and grow. Be passionate, commitment, communication, creativity, optimism, dependability. And I try to model these, but we always will, being human, fall and stumble and show our humanness, right? We'll make mistakes. But teaching children, and that's my new my new goal for my especially my 5-year-olds. Like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. Teach them your legacy can be that it's okay to be human and make mistakes. It's okay to fail an exam. It's okay to, do what you think is the worst case scenario. You will survive, you will learn, you will grow, and you will heal. Yes, parent partner, my friend Deslin, that's my new title. I was thinking parent coach doesn't really resonate with me, parent mentor, but I would like to be, someone's parent partner, because sometimes, even if you have, a mom and a dad and a family, and you think that things are just going well, sometimes, right, the roller coaster ride of life just offers us the worst case scenarios, the challenges, and we think, I don't think I can do this. And this is where I believe that that's my mission, to be a parent partner for parents who just need support, help, guidance, because, having 2 daughters, one soon to be 20 this Sunday, and one soon to be 26, I've had over, over 25 years of experience, plus teaching for, 28 years. I've experienced a lot of challenges with parents and their children. So genealogy, yes, I can relate. Definitely, Deslin reminded me. I definitely can relate with every struggle. I continue to relate and fail and tell myself it's okay. Practice what I preach every time I fall. But when you have knowledge of genealogy, right? Some of us don't know the names of our great grandparents. I had to really do some research, and I have people in the Catil side, my dad's side, who have done a lot of genealogy work. My mom's side, I only know my mom's parents, but I don't know her grandparents' names. But names, birthplaces, just places that they've traveled. I know that my dad's mother met someone, and they caught a boat and came to Oahu, and then later moved to Maui, and we found out later that she left a daughter, in the Philippines, and, so many questions, right? We don't know, but just knowing, where did you come from? Where did your parents and your great-grandparents, and in Hawaii, there's so many mixed ethnicity, right? I'm Portuguese and Hawaiian and German and Korean, and it's really interesting to be, raised in a place where it's truly a melting pot of ethnicities. But genealogy, right? Names, birthplaces, adventures, photos. I am so glad my dad was OCD when it came to labeling photos. He had the dates and the names and the places. And so when I looked at it, the black and white photos, they were categorized. So it was like Guam, 1968 to 74, and then Oklahoma. I have no memories of Oklahoma. I was about 18 months old, so I see photos of me all dressed up, ready to venture in the snow, or having a birthday party with my my fake horsey, and but I don't, birthday cake, the whole celebration, but take photos. And that's the one thing that this generation does, right? We take photos, we create TikToks of memories, we, constantly take photos, but we should take photos of more maybe interaction with our family, the positive interaction, because those photos are a legacy. I love looking at the videos and the photos of my mom, even the hard last 2 weeks of her life. just looking at her, looking at me, or looking in the, on the ceiling and maybe visualizing my dad and her siblings and even her parents, welcoming her into the afterlife. I like to believe that. Values, which I mentioned. I came across this quote, and it says, it was anonymous, to be in your child's memories tomorrow, you have to be in their lives today. What a powerful statement. You don't have to be in their lives for hours, but sometimes those few moments of interaction where you're giving them eye contact, you're listening to them, you're letting them feel heard, understood, and mostly not judged. Still working on that, because sometimes I think as a parent, we just love to give advice or life lessons. My daughter's leaving on her first trip by herself on an airplane, and I found myself like, what legacy am I leaving if I say, don't forget, you have to do this, and, we have to leave early, and I hear her go, I know, Mom, I know. And I thought, I need to let go. I mean, isn't this why I wrote, Mama's Gotta Let Go? Without losing your sanity. But you know what? Sometimes losing your sanity is part of life. So the legacy that you can leave is knowing that your children felt that you trusted their journey, because no child wants to feel that you don't trust them, that you don't believe in them, that you think that they're destined for failure or hardship, right? No child wants to. And I have children going, you know what, my parents don't believe in me, and so I don't like to share things with them. And it is heartbreaking, because I've been that parent of a teen where your values are sometimes skewed and you focus on the grades. They bring home like an 88 and you think, oh, so close to a 90. What do you think you can do to bring up your grade? So you're focusing on your grade, on their grade. So my daughters would say, I guess you're not happy with my current grade. Oh, no, I'm happy with it. But don't you, do you want to make it higher? No, I'm good. And then, some parents, I am guilty, but don't you think that it'd be a good idea to study harder so that you can, get a higher grade? And then I realized I focused on the wrong priorities. Grades don't matter, and I found this out way too late. I was at Mom editing her third grader sentences and, correcting her and maybe popping the bubbles of dreams that she had. When she wanted real wings, I would say, oh, how am I supposed to get real wings? I don't know where to get them. Instead of, that would be such a cool thing to have, real wings. Yeah. And now I do that. And then it's such a relief, because your legacy doesn't have to be, I need to leave like these tangible gifts or, really just monumental accomplishment, so that your children look at you as a superhero or look at you as, wow, man, my mom always had it together. I know my girls will not think that, but I've been told, Mom, you're a great mom. And I think, they don't always say that, but the moments that they do, when they say, sometimes I don't think you realize that the words that come out of your mouth can be just an enlightenment and wisdom. And I think, wow, I need to record this, but other times, of course, I'm told how I can improve, how I can't let go. And you know what? I need to, and I think I suggest all of us, the legacy could be to leave your ego aside and truly create treasured moments. And what can treasured moments be? The traditions that you leave, right? My family tradition for Christmas, some people might think it's materialistic, but we have money boxes. So we used to have, 6 with my parents, and then it would be like $1 to like $20, and they would each be individually wrapped, and then we would mix it up and everyone take a box, and then it's fun, right? The person who's $1, oh no, why you got the 20? And so this year was only the 4 of us. The highest denomination was 50, and I think the lowest might have been 5. We had 5, 2 10s, and a 50. But I thought, this is kind of a weird tradition, you know, but it was fun. I mean, my dad always, you know, gave cards with money. So it would be a joke where we would open the card, and before reading it, we would do this, you know, and a check would fall or cash would fall, and, you know, that would be exciting. Well, we would read the card too. But memories, special occasions, what are you going to leave as a tradition? It could be, you know, blowing out candles. We do that. And, you know, Thomas had like 30 candles on his birthday cake. Well, plus one for good luck. That's a tradition too. You know, we changed from ice cream cake because the ice cream cake would be stuck in the freezer for weeks sometimes. Yeah, believe it or not. But we would have some kind of cake and do the candles. That's like a given. Conversations. Nightly conversations would be, what is the best part of your day? And then we added, what is the worst part of the day? But maybe, you know, children need to vent and share. You know, it was really, really sad when I had, when I tripped over recess. It was really embarrassing. And then you talk about it. And it's an opportunity for a deep discussion in not caring about what other people think, which is a really hard one. I think no matter how old you are, that's a tough one, right? What will people say about me? What will people think about me? Will they think that I'm egotistical? Will they think that I'm, you know, just put in all the worst case, worst adjectives? Time, to me, this is one of the most precious gifts you can give. I was just sharing the concept of memories. Can you travel back in time with a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old? And I mentioned that you can travel in time by visiting your memories. And they thought about it, and they said, I remember I didn't like when I was 4 because I went into a lot of timeouts. So then you flip switch it. Well, what were the fun memories, you know? And they talked about certain birthday parties and certain trips, and their eyes just lit up. But talking about their favorite birthdays, their favorite trips, or even outings. You know, the other day, Thomas and I just took a drive around the island. It was like at 8 at night. We didn't even get anything to eat. And the next day he said, you know what? That was one of the fun dates that we've ever had. And I thought, it was fun and relaxing. So these legacies that you leave, your legacy doesn't have to be something really fancy. You know, when you are in heaven, or when you pass, whatever afterlife you believe in, I look back and it's playing puzzles with my parents, and my dad would mix up all the puzzle pieces, so we would have 3 separate puzzles. And I'll never forget, the first lesson I learned was not to cheat. And I don't know how I cheated with the puzzle pieces, but he said, Karen, we never ever cheat or lie. And I thought, he just ruined the puzzle game. But you know, that was when I was 5, and I just remember it. When I was 16, Karen, your heart will break again and again and again. And I thought, oh my gosh, how mortifying. But you will always have time for social life. You have a limited amount of time when when you're in high school, when you're in college, when you're earning that degree, which is really important to him, which is why I probably was distorted in my, focus on academics. But now that I'm done with, the whole academic journey, well, my youngest one is in college, but thank goodness my perception and leaving the legacy of, is education what you want to leave as, something that your grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Deslin reminded me the other day that someone told her that what you leave, like memory videos or memories or lessons or whatever you want to leave behind, it can reach 7 generations. 7 generations. So ask yourself, do I want my children to remember the times that I disciplined them, the times that I took their video game privileges and their phone? I'm not saying, 7 generations is crazy. I'm not saying, not to give consequences. but what your focus is. If you do give the consequences, and my mom used to tell me that, I don't want to spank you. And I would say, then don't spank me. And she would say, but I don't want you to grow up being naughty. And I thought, if you don't spank me, I won't be naughty, when you're like 8. But it's something to think about, what you want to be remembered for. And I know Deslin always shares that her grandmother said, do what makes you happy, which is something that we don't really think of because I think a lot of us focus on obligations. We need to get that degree, we need to get that promotion, we need to get that certain career so we can reach a certain financial success. And then I just read this morning that if you keep doing that, you will never be happy because the bar will always be raised. So even when you're a millionaire, you want to become, like maybe a billionaire, or you want to own a better house, or you want to renovate, or you want to get a better car, because your car is umpteen years old. So really, my invitation to you is really contemplate what you want your children to remember you for. So, routines, rituals, habits. My parents both had very, very detailed to-do lists. My mom's was in Japanese. My dad's was, of course, in English, but very, very tiny. And now mine, I'm very embarrassed. I'll just show, this week. It's just very, very messy, but it works for me. The last one I'd like to share is what we're going through now. Since my mom passed, is, leaving a will, a trust. If you have any property, I don't know if you know this, but if you don't have a trust, it will go to probate, and then the judge will become your trustee. And I didn't realize this, but if it is in probate, every relative you have, cousins, nephews, nieces, siblings, can go to court and fight for that property. So that property then might be distributed. I mean, how many ways, how many people, and it's up to the judge. If you have a trust, personally, it is stressful, but I know that the reason why my dad left the house, he only left one thing, the house, in a trust. When the person dies, you have to take that property out of the trust, which requires an attorney, paperwork, all this other stuff. But you know what? I won't have to go through probate. And you think that if you're an only child, why do you need a trust, right? And I spoke with someone from Bank of Hawaii. Only child, the mom didn't have a trust, and she had to spend a lot of money and wait about 9 months to a year to get that house out of probate. So get that will. If you own property, get that trust. And then funeral wishes. One of my close friends, her son has been diagnosed with cancer, and he wrote his eulogy. And I thought, writing a eulogy is stressful. When you write your own eulogy, your loved ones will know what you want to be remembered for. And I jokingly say, make sure you play, How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees, Frankie Valli, all these songs. But recently, I've been thinking, I want to write my eulogy. And if anything, it's a great exercise in thinking what you want to do with the rest of your life. If there's some big dreams, write them down and make pretend. You can have your make pretend eulogy and the eulogy that you want them to read if you die, say, tomorrow. Not putting it out there. But dream big and just know, that when you write it down, I've written down, the top 100, and some of them have come true, some of them not. Some of them will change. But do you want to be cremated, or do you want to be buried? Where do you want your ashes scattered? Do you want some of your loved ones to have part of your ashes? None of that was discussed with me. My dad left enough money to give him a funeral. No specific plans. Some people I know, their mom left specific flowers and music and paid for the plot and chose the casket and made sure that everything was set. So all they had to do is make one call. It is Mary. I'm about to end, Mary, but the legacy, the most important thing was to, leave, you know, like memories, you know, traditions, spend time. I just was talking about the need for a will and a trust, but genealogy, you know, find out about your family tree, and photos, date them, label them. So many of us have photos on our phones with no labels, with no, you know, we don't know when that, well, we know when the photo was taken, but we might not know who was in the photo. So my dad had just a lot of photo albums, and recently I've been looking at the black and white photos. So, yeah, just make sure that if you want to leave a legacy, I think it's nurturing and just really raising your children with values, but know that they're loved. And I just realized the most important legacy to leave is teach them how to love themselves, because self-love is something that if you don't have can create a lot of future problems as an adult, because when we don't have self-love, we don't have self-worth. If you don't have self-worth, you travel in that dark hole of, you know, I'm not good enough and things are never going to get better for me. And that's where I was when I almost took my life. So I'm so glad I didn't do that. That was when I was 31. And I look back, it was 27 years ago. So I don't want to end on a bad note, but keep that in mind, you know, that if there's one thing you want your children, your grandchildren, future generations to remember you by, what will that be? And the next time, I need to remember this myself, I want to lash out, I'm just really upset, and I want to say something in the midst of an argument. Maybe instead we can pause, take a deep breath, and say, is this the legacy that I want to leave? You know, these words that might hurt, these words that won't be forgotten. And can I flip switch those words so they're loving words that express unconditional love? And that's it for my 98th Facebook Live Wednesday. I am having an amazing guest, surprise guest from Australia for my 100th Facebook Live Wednesday. I am looking for people to interview for my Letting Go with Aloha interview series. So if you are interested in sharing your story, because we all have amazing stories to share, please message me and let's schedule a short interview. It can be 10, 15, 20 minutes. I've done longer interviews, but just something. And guess what? That can be your legacy, because it will be recorded and I'll give you a copy and you can share it. What an amazing way to leave a legacy. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye.